I'm only good at stuffing 3 things: my attaché case with fancy little hotel soaps, my mouth with macrobiotic nutrients, and stockings around the holiday time with great gear for musicians. So Sweetwater asked me to make this video. I am doing this with just stuff that I use on a regular basis, if not a daily basis. So this is all stuff that I actually use all the time. So let's get through the kind of easy stuff first. Tuner. Everybody needs a tuner. I like the Snark stuff. Snarks never do me dirty. The upgrade for this is they actually have USB rechargeable Snark tuners. So they're cheap. They fit in a stocking. I can't get enough of these because I usually lose these before the battery goes bad anyway. But huge fan of Snark tuners. Capo, gotta have a capo. Again, all the live gigs I use, capo's always handy. Super quick for just transposing stuff on the fly without really having to think about it too hard. Again, really, really cheap, generally around like $20, $25. I like the Kyser ones. The Kyser ones I think are just the best. I've had them for 10 years and I've never had to replace them, right? On top of that, a Ditto Looper pedal. Okay, I've always said that a looper pedal is the most important investment that you can make in your guitar practice, but I generally like the 2-button loopers, but there's always a use for a Ditto. They're inexpensive, they're super small. Like I said, even though it only has 1 button, you can think of like a lot of cool uses for it. Specifically, one thing that I found for looper pedals that is kind of like an untraditional way to use them is to actually put them in the front of your chain, so you can just loop something and then you can like mess with your pedals after it. So one of the hardest things for me to do is to find pedal settings for my guitar while I'm playing it. It's like I'll be playing stuff and then I'll make an adjustment, but I'm not hearing it. I can't adjust it while I'm hearing it. So having a looper pedal at the front of your chain is great for just kind of like looping something and then messing with the pedals to dial in your sound, or even just like an amp if you're not even using pedals, right? So that is, I think that's a great slept-on use for a Ditto looper, and it's super, super tiny, right? I think one thing that any musician is always going to need is a microphone, right? I think they fit really well in stockings when you take them out of the box and just put them in usually like a little bag that they come with. Best all-around microphone for $100, I think without question, is an Audix i5. I've been rocking this Audix i5 in so many different scenarios. This used to be my mic just for vocals, actually doing live shows with like a duo, or maybe like, you know, the singer has like whatever mic they want, and I use this for singing. I've used this to mic guitars, guitar cabs, drums. Audix i5, it's always just around $100, sometimes even cheaper. It's fantastic. Now, if you want to really upgrade and do maybe like a Beverly Hills mom stocking stuffer, the Sennheiser MD435 is the best live vocal microphone I have ever used, hands down. Every time I'm singing with this live, all the live videos that you've seen of me are definitely using the MD435. So it's a little more expensive. It's closer to $500, but I definitely can hear the difference as soon as I start singing in this as compared to like anything else. So to me, something like that is actually kind of worth it, right? Another question I get a lot is about my wireless gear that I use for the live stuff. And that's where the Sennheiser wireless guitar system comes in really well. These things are great. They have little picture, slept-on feature of these. They have a picture of the guitar and a picture of the amp. So you have to be pretty stupid to plug the wrong thing into the wrong area mixer-wise or whatever. I've had these for several years. Have never really had any issue. I've never had the battery run out. I do charge them in between every show, but USB-C, so they charge pretty quick, and they sync instantaneously, right? Now, even less expensive for that are the microphone wireless transmitter receiver that I use. I like the Xvive stuff, okay? Xvive sent me these several years ago, and I still use them to this day. They're great because you just power them on. Again, USB chargeable. I've never had issues with the battery, and I'm using this going on 4 years now. So a lot of people think that like USB chargeable stuff like will degrade over time. I mean, from a scientific standpoint, like yes, it will. But again, 4 years in, These things are super cost effective for how good they actually are. And they're really easy to change the frequency or the connection that you're on. Again, you just press like the button in here, and you can kind of like sync them to either channel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. So I just used this the other day where there was like a lot of people playing close to the area that we were doing. We were getting some interference, so I just switched the channels really quick. Done. Absolutely done. Okay. Another guitar pedal one. Walrus Audio Juliana. This is something that I think anybody could use. I think guitar players are they're very specific when it comes to like their overdrives and their reverbs. So something that any guitar player could benefit is just cool weird pedals. And I don't really think there's anything cooler than the Juliana. It's like it can be a chorus, it can be a trem, it can be like a vibrato type deal. You can just kind of like mess all of them together to get like really cool sounds. It is stereo in and stereo out. In fact, me and Andrea wrote an entire song just about this pedal that is our most requested live song ever. So definitely check this out. This pedal's awesome too. I love it. Something that if you're very last minute and it's like, oh man, I don't have time to order this from Sweetwater or anything like that. It's Christmas Eve. I need to get something. Software, plugins. That's what it's all about, right? You can just kind of like print out a little picture of what they're getting and you'll get the code delivered right away. So some really cool software plugins that I've been using recently. We just did a video on the Izotope Vocal Synth 2. If you haven't seen that video, please watch it. It's like the funniest video that we've done. There are endless amounts of fun that come from that plugin specifically. The vocoder alone is great. You can like, it's pitch correction, it's a vocoder, it's machine sounds. It's just like the wackiest wild plugin that has a great dynamic between just like fun meme music and like actual just like kind of cool pop sounding vocoder stuff that you can do with it. I think it's actually really, really well priced for what you get out of it. I think aside from that, the XLN Audio RC-20 is like, if you're into lo-fi hip-hop beats or beat making, you need it. In fact, if you're into like lo-fi beat making or anything, you probably already have it. It's like kind of iconic within that industry. The RC-20 is like fantastic. And also any of the synths or mixing plugins. When I say mixing plugin, like, you know, they have like cool compressors and stuff from Arturia. Huge fan of all the Arturia stuff. Any single Arturia instrument is worth its weight in gold. I think they really make like the best virtual instruments just kind of out there, full stop, right? And then last but not least, this guy right here, the Zoom H6. You've probably seen so many different musicians, content creators, everybody use this thing. This thing has come in so handy. It has been a lifesaver. I record all my live shows with this. It's great because it has a solid mic. The mic that comes on here, the stereo condenser that comes on here, and you can also kind of like take this off and put different attachments on if you want. But the one that comes on here is so good. Like the audio on this, I could run my whole channel off of just by having this kind of out. But you can also go direct in with either 1/4 inch or XLRs. Stick the memory card in right here, get yourself some rechargeable batteries to do it, or use the adapter that you can just power it with. I've since used rechargeable batteries just because it's nice to have it more portable and not have to be tied to an outlet or anything. And the interface is great. You get a screen right here that you can mess with. You can record all of these as separate files of audio that are already going to be the exact same length. So again, if you want to record, say, just the mic, like for one of my shows, specifically, I'll have these going to get the crowd reaction, and then I'll have the direct out from my Bose system, and then I'll kind of blend them to just see what sounds best. But they come as two different files, so I'll just be like, all right, I'll hit this one, and I'll hit this one, and then it's going to record as separate files, which I think is great because then you actually have flexibility on what you want to use after the fact. So, huge fan of the Zoom. And honestly, like, that's it. You know, there's always like the tried and true stuff, like you can go with picks and strings. The only thing about that is you're probably not going to surprise them because you don't want to just get random picks or strings. I personally, and I can speak for a lot of guitar players, saying that you want to get the right picks or strings. So if you have Intel, that you know what kind of picks and or strings he or she uses, definitely go for it. But I've had a lot of people give me like picks or strings that like I'm not a huge fan of, and I'm just like, thanks, and then they've just been in a drawer for several Christmases past. So those are just some ideas. Hopefully that maybe helps you get a gift for a loved one or for just yourself. And thank you to Sweetwater for sponsoring this video. And I hope you guys all have a fantastic holiday. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments or Twitter, Instagram, website, and I'll get back to you soon. Thanks a lot.